John Velasquez checks back over his shoulder, keeps an eye on Kagan, who goes to second. Wise Dan chased to the line by Kagan, but it's career win number 20 for the 7-year-old. The two-time Horse of the Year, Wise Dan, wins it.
Back with you for TwinSpire's video previews of stakes races over the weekend. We're going to get started with the Maker's Mark Mile on Friday afternoon. You got to see Wise Dan, two-time winner of the Breeders' Cup Mile. Both of those wins actually followed Breeders' Cup Mile victories from the prior year in 2013 and 2014. He, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Mile those 2 years. I'm joined by Scott Shapiro. Scott, no Wise Dan this year, but certainly a solid bunch going postward in the Maker's Mark Mile.
Yeah, no doubt, Nick. Good to have you with me here. And I thought it was a very competitive race and one where I thought looking for some value was a worthwhile endeavor. Obviously, Chad Brown, a major player in here like normal, although he hasn't won it in at least a couple of years. But I thought both Sacred Life and Raging Bull were worth taking a chance against. Where did you land in here?
Interestingly, Chad Brown has actually never won the Maker's Mark Mile, and that segues well into who I like, which is there's only two trainers in the field who have won the Maker's Mark Mile previously. Mark Casse won it twice, including last year with War of Will, and won it with Tepin, of course, back in 2016. 10 years ago, Tom Bush won it with Get Stormy, and I like Get Smokin', actually, who's back in for Tom Bush. He almost won this race a couple of years ago as well with Clyde's Image, who was a big long shot, finished second. I thought Get Smokin' ran a terrific race at Tampa last time. It was probably going to offer plenty of value. And while not having an ideal running style, I think for the way this race is going to unfold, I could see him getting a decent trip sitting just off of a Flying Scotsman and/or some like a Hot Brown if they're ridden very aggressively. Or I think Junior Alvarado has the option of looking to his right out of the gate and seeing if those two might just be willing to press and going ahead and taking the initiative.
Yeah, coming off a career best effort, both in terms of Brisnet, speed ratings, Thorograph figures. So Get Smokin' got his 4-year-old campaign off to a good start. I like where you're going 8-1 on the line. I went with Ride a Comet, Mark Casse, looking to win it in back-to-back years. You mentioned he won it with War of Will. I think you can forgive his poor effort in the Kilroy Mile. Was against the flow of the race, didn't get out of the gate well, and was coming off a real big effort in the tropical turf when he just got the best of Casa Creed. I thought that was a real good effort off the short layoff for Casse. Tyler Gaffalione, who rode him in that effort, gets back aboard. Drayden Van Dyke rode him out in Southern California at Santa Anita. I think he can bounce back off that effort. Hopefully we get somewhere near 6-1.
Yeah, I thought you could certainly make a case for him. And as you said, pretty pace compromised last time at Santa Anita, no question about it. You mentioned both of Chad Brown's entrants, a Raging Bull and Sacred Life, each coming back off of lengthy layoffs. Raging Bull just won for his last 10, but of course, all 10 of those races in Grade 1 company. If he ends up going off the favorite, I felt like he's one you definitely want to take a stand against. It just seems like he never really took that step forward off of what ended up a really promising 3-year-old campaign.
Exactly. It's that lack of step forward that has kind of been surprising, to be honest. I know I've been on him more than once, and I think I was on him last year in this race when he lost to War of Will as a 6-5 favorite. Thought he was a single that day, was outkicked in the lane. Hit the road as a tricky horse for me. 2 back on the Thunder Road, the Grade 3. Still kicking myself for leaving him out of the single six or the pick six wager that day. That cost me $20-something thousand. Came back and regressed and still won. Any thoughts on Hit the Road?
I thought he ran well last time. He's obviously a horse with still a pretty great deal of upside, but he did have a great trip. No question about it. I don't want to blame him too significantly for having a good trip because he seems to have the running style that's going to put him in the race when Florent Geroux would like to. And he's probably going to be waiting in the wings, should Get Smokin' and some like it Hot Brown and potentially Flying Scotsman battle in the opening stages. I think he's very dangerous. And I think we're now at a point where mile turfers around the country, there's really no geographical edge. And I think the West Coast contingent, as we saw in that Kilrow, could be just as good as anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be a tough horse for me to leave off. 6 for 9 in his career. Dan Blacker's got him thriving in his third start of his 4-year-old campaign.
No question about it. Undoubtedly a super competitive bunch to go postward in the Maker's Mark Mile, the Friday afternoon feature at Keeneland.